It's showtime. We are here. We are live.
What's
Hi, guys.
up? What's going on? How's everybody
Very
doing?
fun, good stuff. And thank you for tuning in. We have Stanley is our third co-host here tonight, our cartoon ghost friend. Welcome to the show, Stanley. And welcome to the show, anybody else watching. So tonight, episode 37. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
I'm doing fucking ducky over here. I'm chomping the bit. I can't wait to start talking about this shit, man. This is like a topic I've been waiting for like
This
85
this
years.
is like Joe's one of Joe's favorite things to talk about is that we're going to be talking about ghosts and ghost stories tonight. So that's awesome. Definitely stick around for that. If we have time, we're going to talk a little bit about, as artists, musicians, writers, and what have you, how hard it is, especially like during a pandemic and stuff like that, how hard it is to remain creative and stuff. So hopefully we can talk about that. If not, we've got a hell of a show, lots of ghost stories and fun stuff like that.
And the importance of a good biscotti. We got to have that conversation.
Yes, there you go. He's got snacks.
We'll get that in there. Yeah, we got snacks.
Yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff. Got some responses on Facebook, Twitter, about people's favorite ghost stories, whether they be books, movies, real life stuff, whatever. And I know Joe's got a couple of those as well. So yeah, we can just basically what do you want to start with first?
Oh my God. I mean, there's so much shit. I mean, obviously I'm stoked in about 60 years of Ed Lorraine Warren culture. So all the demonology shit is on me. And a lot of it's centered around Long Island and New York. So it was within a mecca for me. I was on part of that, tri-state area.
Yeah.
So some of these stories, not some of the main character stories that you hear about in the movies. There's a lot of ghost stories in New Jersey that people don't know.
One of the most Jersey Devil is huge.
I was going to put that in at the end of the show actually as a notable because he's actually not a ghost. Jersey Devil is not. The Jersey Devil is going to be categorized more in a field like Squatch.
Oh my God! Yeah, because your urban legend, your Squatch
he's more urban legend, but he came from a family, and the name of the family was the Leeds family, and they were in New Jersey in the early 20s. I think it was 1926, and that the story originated that the mother went out into the woods one night and happened on a stranger along the path, and the stranger kind of did whatever he did, and they made love, and a year later this demon was born into the world, and that's supposed to be the Jersey Devil that came from a Leeds farm, and that's like kind of folklore. Now there's the White Lady in Ramapo, which a lot of people know. There's Devil's Road, where it's said that you're chased. You get on this portion of road and a black truck comes out of nowhere and just chases you.
Right. We went to the Devil's Tree.
Yeah.
Fuck all happened there. So we did. We tried. Now, one of my friends, I won't name his name just for maybe it'll be embarrassing if I tell the story. What was I, a senior in high school? I don't remember. No, it was probably the year after I graduated high school. So we go up there and something about, I don't remember. I don't know. I was probably stoned or something. And somebody put something in their trunk and then got a flat tire. And he swears it's because we fucked with the tree.
Listen, I've been around and I've seen quite a number of things. I mean, when I was younger, I was in bands that played around with other stuff. And then I've seen some really funky things go on. I've been there. There was in the town that I grew up in, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. If there's anybody out there that remembers, back in the early '80s, in the Watchung Mountains, there was what was known as the Watchung Witches, and it was a cult of. It was an actual. Now this was a true story. There was an actual cult of witches that followed in these mountains. They were. It was said that there was, and something did happen. There was a controversy around this, and I know because I grew up there. That somebody was killed in those woods, and they said it was a ritualistic killing. This was never proven.
Like a sacrifice.
Correct. Now, I had been up there. We had found the craziest thing I ever saw was that we were traveling through one night on the way to a drinking spot where everybody partied.
I'm sorry, I fucking hit my ankle and it hurts.
I heard that.
I'm like trying really hard to like sit here and be like, oh, it doesn't hurt. No, it fucking hurt. I was like, God damn. I just want to make sure I wasn't bleeding or anything. No, we're good. We're good. No,
everything's fine. I didn't feel it. Legs on the
shit,
floor.
that's why I was like, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Anyway,
passing along on a pathway, we noticed a small wooden bowl of like what looked like peas in it. Next to it was a rock with looked like it had an amulet and a stone. And on the rock, I don't know how to fucking explain this, but it looked like a chicken became part of the fucking rock. Like the chicken was fused into a rock. I don't know how else to explain what the fuck I saw. That night we were chased out of the woods by like 10 or 15 people wearing robes. So I'll tell you right now firsthand, shit does happen. And people do open these fucking portals and people do dumb things with Ouija boards and they don't realize the shit that they're fucking with until it's in their house. And I mean, in New Jersey alone, I'm actually talking to somebody right now, and I haven't mentioned this before. This is a prime time to do it, I guess. We're talking about maybe doing some ghost hunting in New Jersey. Yeah, so I mean that would be something, obviously, right up my alley, Stevie, to do something that would be very near and dear to my heart. And you were a fellow Jersey resident, so you understand a lot of the lure and that's steeped, in the state here. There's tons and tons.
Oh,
and
yeah,
tons
like down in Cape May and shit too.
Bed and breakfast, sure.
There's lots of stuff that, so of course, I always have to give my healthy dose of skepticism. So I, in my time, have fucked around with Ouija boards. I have messed around with seances and what have you, and whatever you want to call it. And I can't honestly say that I have ever had an actual, and we've talked about this before on other shows. I have never had an actual encounter with an otherworldly presence.
Right.
So, that I'm not going to sit here and say they don't exist, but like we've also discussed in the past, is that, you probably really have to believe it and really want it or something. You know what I mean?
I honestly think that, I think it's more along the lines of your inner being. Not so much, I don't know. I don't want to say it's an ethereal gift. I think it's just something that's inherent in somebody, maybe to feel or not to feel. Mm-hmm. I have seen things that people have told me about that I was skeptical about, and I have seen and felt things that I know for a fact. I know what I'm looking at, man. And right. I know the difference when an inanimate object is placed in front of me and it moves by itself. And I've seen this happen with my own eyes countless times. You got to question the validity of what the fuck is making that move. And I don't give a shit if it's fucking science or not. Something made it move. I know, and I base that on my awareness, just being aware of something. Like I'll put the pen down. I know I put the fucking pen down. If the pen is here in the air floating, right. What's making it do that? Why,
right. So I have, like, now that we're since we're on the topic of it, Alex, who if anybody remembers Alex from a previous show, she was a guest. She is actually was, I think she resigned temporarily, with the virus and all, but she was a radio host for Metal Messiah Radio. And Alex is cool, and she reached out to me today to share with me just something very recently, little ghost story, or maybe not a ghost, but some sort of presence.
She's a good friend of mine. Alex is awesome. I love her.
Yeah, she's so cool. Like I said, she was on the show. We'd love to have her back on. Her husband's in a band, and Just
I'm
all
very
around,
close with them. They're good people.
yeah,
man.
all around good peeps.
Yeah.
So Alex said that it happened about 3 weeks ago. She's working from home right now, as most people are. So she's sitting there, and her dad are they were just she said she was very stressed and mad that day. And so she was sitting at the dinner table, working, and in front of her, she has it's like a breakfast bar, counter. And then to the left of that, you can't really see this picture, but to the left of that, it was very loud over by you.
Yeah, I heard that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, some is here. Somebody's with us.
Yeah, my sister. It's called My Sister with the TV. That's what that is. So she to the left.
Turn the TV down, hon.
I wish I could share the picture with you guys. To the left of what Alex looks at from her, where she sits and works, is a couple of shelves, and there's like a little origami guy, sitting there, and she said the origami figures on the glass shelf, and her and her dad are sitting there. She said every door and window was closed in the house. None of the fans were on. At the time, the air conditioning wasn't blowing or anything like that. And she said suddenly the origami figure just almost jumped off the shelf.
Yeah.
She said it was like as if somebody had hit it with their finger, and it fell right down in front of them. And she said her and her dad looked at each other like, what the fuck? And she said she told her father that she believed that in that moment, because she was so stressed out and angry, that energy caused the origami to fall off the shelf. And we've talked about that before too. Like poltergeists are negative energy.
That's correct. That's poltergeist activity.
And so she said, as she's typing this to me, she said in that moment, she's sitting in the exact same place. She has 2 doors open and a ceiling fan on, and the origami hasn't moved an inch. So she said she believes that it was that energy, that negative energy that day, and she wanted to share that with us for the show.
Well, I appreciate that. I definitely
thank
do.
You, Alex. That was a great story.
That's actually believed to be a portal for negativity when somebody is when there's a lot of temperate in the atmosphere, when there's a lot of anger in the atmosphere, when it's very tense and very angry and very sullen or very withdrawn or sad, those emotions elicit another doorway, and usually that's a doorway to negativity.
Right.
That's the doorway we want to keep closed, because that's where all the fun shit comes from. We don't want to.
Yeah, well, that's where the malevolent spirits come from.
That's correct. That's where they live. They live in the dark.
If you guys take a look at Stanley right there, Stanley's a happy spirit, and he's even smiling. So Stanley is not a malevolent spirit.
Stanley's awesome. Stanley.
Hi, Stanley.
I'm gonna share biscotti with Stanley, because Stanley, see what I got too. I got one for me and one for Stanley. Stanley's fucking rocking.
Guys.
Stanley's my boy.
Your ghosts to keep them.
Stanley chills with me. I mean, Stanley will tell you, he takes care of me over here and shit.
You're gonna have dreams. Stanley's gonna come visit you in your dreams tonight.
No, I mean there are. We have. Hey DJ. Hey
Alex. Yeah, Alex.
How are you, sweetheart? It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming in.
I hope you heard. I just told your story that you sent me today, so I hope you were here for that.
Now, I mean, as far as that goes, that could have been eliciting a feeling. You could have sent that energy out, but a poltergeist is not a manifestation of somebody alive.
Oh, so
projecting their energy. That's telekinesis. And when you can project like that and move an object on your own without touching it, it's known as telekinesis. When a poltergeist is a spirit, maybe not necessarily malevolent, maybe bored, that comes in, just a routine haunt that gets knocked off its kilter by something traumatic or something electric that happens, something big, and becomes aware and starts knocking things around to get attention because it's tired of doing what it's doing, and it realizes. I mean, then you do a pretty simple house cleaning and, put them to bed and say goodnight.
Alex said, what do you think about that? And so Alex, that's what I was, so I had said that, maybe because of your energy and the negativity and the stress levels and everything that had caused some kind of poltergeist. But what Joe was explaining was that a poltergeist is not caused by somebody alive's energy. It's caused by a dead person's energy. So
it is. I mean, you are the spark. You are actually the spark that makes the thing tick. Like you're the plug. You know what I mean? You become the current, which this thing can feed on. So if you come in like angry, you have all this energy. Whatever's there. Ghosts are usually not creatures of power. They're more creatures of spirit. They don't have power necessarily. We have the light, we have the power, and they're drawn to that, and they can feed off of that if they know how. And I mean, a lot of people don't believe in this stuff, but I'm telling you firsthand, I've seen enough shit and been through enough shit on my own to, a few months ago, I was standing in the kitchen making coffee. Chrissy and I were standing in the kitchen. There was an orange on top of the coffee maker, came off and hit me right in the forehead, like somebody went like that. I mean, literally, I'm talking a foot and a half, okay? So, and no window, an orange, all right? And that's tip of the iceberg. That's like minor compared to the shit I've had happen to me over the years with
right.
Ouija boards and crosses and a bunch of other,
that is what I really wish, like, not like I'm sitting here inviting evil spirits or something in, but I have tried so many times over the years to contact.
I'll make it happen if you want. I mean,
on the other side, or a spirit of some sort. And I just feel like they know that I have all that skepticism, and they know, and they're just like, nah, because I don't ever want to be that person that's like, I don't believe in it, bottom line, flat out, no, because I'm just not that, I'm not the judge and jury and executioner on stuff like that. So I'll never say what another person should believe in or not, but for me, I can't say that I've ever had anything to prove to me that something is there. And that's just me. That's just my opinion.
I've had doors slammed. I've been scratched. I've woken up with cuts. I've been bitten. I've had headaches. I've heard voices. I've seen faces. I've been touched. I've been kicked. I've had shit thrown at me. I've had shit said at me. I've been screamed at. I mean, this, and then I've had other things happen. I've been given money. I've been led to places for no fucking reason. I say something out of a dream, waking up and remember it, and fucking 3 days later, it's in front of me. I mean, I've had all this shit happen to me repeatedly. It's not just once or twice. It's not like I'm going, oh my God, I can see, I mean, this shit is happening. When we went to New Orleans together, Stevie and I, for all of you that don't know, we're a family, and Stevie and I and Justin and Chrissy are all married, not together, but separately. Yeah. It's not like a commune, man.
No.
We took a trip to Mexico, which was outstanding. But we started in New Orleans, and I actually have the seer that I spoke to. I did speak to someone, and she told me, she goes, lock it down, kid. You got the gift, and you're in the zone. And I know what she meant. She was telling me, put a lock on it because there's people here in the ground. And sure enough, we went on a ghost tour to the cemetery where the Queen of Voodoo resided, and they were talking, man. The caretaker that took care of the tour was watching the things that were coming up on the feed that I had on my Squawk Box, and he wasn't, I mean, I could see it in his eyes. He wasn't playing. He said, I've never seen anything like this. He goes, I've never seen anything like this at all. And, it's great to make a buck and to make a sale and to push it.
Right.
But I could tell that he was generally like getting nervous, and I'm like, you're the tour, dude. You're not supposed to get nervous. You're supposed to be the one to, and I'm come on, let's go. I walked him out. We had to, douse with the sage and everything when we walked out of the cemetery. But they were very vocal to me.
Yeah.
I have pictures where they're coming out, and if I go to a place and start calling it out and seeking it, whatever the difference between you and I is, something inside of me they see. Maybe it's a switch that I don't know how to turn off, and you do. I mean, that could be it too. You know,
yeah. I mean, and then even Alex said that she thinks that the energy was just around her, and she just unlocked something that day.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and then she said that Paco told her it was probably one of her aunts that passed away, and that crazy shit has happened since she passed away. So it could have very well been the aunt being like, "Hey, knock it off! Stop being so stressed."
Just saying hi. That's like Stanley.
Yep.
Stanley's cool. Stanley would be a residual. Hi, Stanley. Stanley's a residual haunt. Stanley wouldn't bite you. Stanley wouldn't kick you.
No, Stanley can hang out in my house.
Stanley would be a ghost. Now, there's a couple different kind of ghosts, regular old ghosts. You have residual haunt, which is like a pattern haunt, like a guy that got up every day for 60 years, walked from his bedroom to the kitchen and back.
Yeah,
and that pattern, right? That pattern will just keep repeating itself. You have an active haunt, which is somebody who's back trying to get something out, a message, a word, something to let you know. And then you have some not so nice hauntings, which are the demonologists and the demons that come out to play. And they're seeking souls. They're seeking what they seek and doing what they do. But you have a few different types of haunts. So you have to identify which one it is. And Alex, it sounds to me, in my opinion, just like it's somebody letting you know that they're unhappy with something. That's an unhappy sign. It's an unrestful sign when things are getting, kind of fidgeted with and they move around a little bit.
Stanley just steals your snacks.
Right. You got no, you don't mess with this. This one's Stanley's. We don't mess with it. You get to a point where you can identify these things over the years, like I have, being into it as much as I am, I guess, and looking for it. But Stevie, you have a good point. It's like, where do you say to yourself, okay, what's fact and what's fiction?
Right.
See,
I can always rationalize something. I can anything, like, you know what I mean? Like, this can just do like this and like float in front of me. Obviously it's not, but I just wanted to pretend like it was. This can float in front of me and I will stare at it and say, okay, so how is this really happening? You know what I mean? Like I will look to rationalize something, because a pen's never going to actually float in front of me.
Right.
But unless Stanley comes over, so, bottom line is there's just got to be a reason for it besides the simple spirits just don't exist. Or at least I like to think there is, because it would be fun. You know what I mean? I like, and I think it was Sean several episodes ago when Bree was here and we were talking about demons and shit like that. And Sean said he would love for it to be real. Same thing with me. We have tried to reach out and then to no avail. We get no response. And then just from Twitter, we did have a response from Adam on Twitter. He says that the best ghost stories are the ones told by those who have witnessed the events firsthand.
That's true, Adam. That's very true.
There you go.
And I'm definitely one of those people. I mean, as a seeker and just somebody that seems to be a beacon. I've for some reason, like we were saying earlier, some people may have some kind of a light or a switch or a vibe or a feel to them that appeals to something like that. An energy, something different, something, whatever it is, something ethereal that they can see and are drawn to, because I'm a fucking magnet, man. I mean, I get picked off, like, I'm telling you, I mean, I get smacked in the head with shit. I've been bitten. I mean, I've woken up with bite marks on me, literal bite marks. I mean,
tell Chrissy to knock it off.
She'll tell me, I'm gonna bite you, and she'll fucking, and I get hit with the. But honestly, I have seen enough in my day. I mean, I've been around both kinds of different haunts, past residual. I've been around active and then demonic, and I can tell you the difference, like, immediately.
Okay, Adrian. Adrian's with us now.
Hey, Adrian's here. All right, good. I mean, I can feel a room fill. I can actually feel a room fill. And
do you think that, so you said earlier, for anybody just tuning in, Joe had said earlier that he had been thinking about going and starting like a ghost hunting thing. So do you think with your ghost hunting that you might encounter, so you said you woke up with bites and stuff before. Do you think that you might encounter a malevolent spirit that would attach itself to you to come home?
Absolutely. There's no question. You have to learn how to cleanse yourself and ground yourself. And you know, I'm very strong in my faith. Listen, I don't tell anybody what to do, you know, but I'm a very strong believer in God, especially I don't hide it. Walking through the year of cancer I had and everything that I've been through, I've seen things on the other side of the spectrum, in hindsight, retrospect, and foresight, and with my own fucking eyes. So I've seen enough shit in order to understand what I need to do to make sure that I'm protected myself. Because for somebody that doesn't believe, that's fine. They believe in you. They know you're there.
Like I said, it's nobody's place to tell another person what they should or shouldn't believe in. So
exactly. No, that's just it, Stephen. I would never say that you're wrong for disbelieving in anything, you know, or your opinion doesn't matter. It absolutely matters.
Right. Oh, hey, Bree's here too. Bree said that her cousin was actually a paranormal chaser and he was in a TV show, which that's awesome.
Awesome.
If you don't mind, share what show it was.
Yeah. I'm a huge chaser, man. I mean, I'm Steve and I were talking before the show. I'm a huge Ed and Lorraine Warren fan. I mean, I've read every book that they've had, you know, that they've written over the course of the years, and every haunting that they've had, I've checked the case files. I've listened to the MP3s and read the case files on them, and, you know, really got into this stuff. And some of the stuff is just, oh my God, you know, you can't believe the shit that these people have been through.
It's a pretty good segue now that you brought up Ed and Lorraine Warren. I mean, no, today's not really a good opportunity to make fun of you about bringing up the content, because I mean, literally it goes about fucking ghosts. So we're not making fun of Joe today. Stanley told me not to. But and for anybody just tuning in that doesn't know, that our new co-host is Stanley, and he's a friendly ghost as long as you share your snacks with him. So if you haven't brought snacks, watch out, because Stanley's coming home with you.
You gotta give Stanley biscotti. I brought two.
Yeah, it's
Stanley
like you have to sacrifice something, guys.
Right.
So, you know, bring
when we go to snack time on the show here, which is Stevie didn't know we were going to have snack time, and tonight I said we're having snack time.
I invited Stanley anyway. So Stanley knows for it.
I'm going to go ahead and crack one of my biscotti and listen to some talk here. So go ahead, Stevie.
We kind of put together like some of our favorite stuff. I also got some responses from you guys on Twitter and Facebook as well, and about like what are some of your favorite ghost stories, whether they be books or movies and stuff like that. So, you know, obviously we all know what Joe's favorite is, and if you don't, one guess.
One guess. Come on, guys. I'll give you. You don't know by now, man.
And so in addition to, so Ed and Lorraine Warren were the real life demonologists, the real life ghost hunters. But there is, I don't want to say fake, but it's a fictional universe of, if you've ever watched, it's not Insidious, is it? Is that what I'm thinking of with Lynn Shay?
The Key? Are you thinking the Key?
Oh my gosh. I think it is. I cannot believe, you know what
I think it's
I hate when I sit here like an asshole and like I forgot my whole fucking brain. Yes, it is Insidious. Okay. Mm-hmm. So in the film or the franchise Insidious, there's several films, and it's a really great franchise. I'm a big fan of it, and I recommend it to anybody, even though the last one was kind of shitty. So Lynn Shay plays a character who I don't really want to say she's a ghost chaser, because she doesn't go out. She rather has people come to her. So she's a medium is what you would call that.
Right.
So people come to her when they're being haunted or harassed or what have you. And she has a special ability that she's had since she was a young girl to go into uh, the other world, the other realm, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And I love that character so much. She's probably one of my favorite characters from like the fictional ghost storytelling universe. So if you've never seen Insidious, that's probably one of my favorite ghosty stories. Other ghosty stuff that I like, Amityville Horror, which ties him to Ed and Lorraine Warren. What'd you say?
Totally.
It was the Lutz family.
It's totally
That's a real thing that happened for those of you that didn't grow up in the same area that Joe and I grew up in. It may be lesser known that it is a true story. I mean, most people know what Amityville Horror is. So it happened in New York. If you want it, because you studied very much about Amityville, so if you want to tell the story.
It happened in Amityville, New York, back in the early 70s. A family had moved into the house, the Lutz family. It was George and Kathy Lutz, and they had, I think, 3 children. They were in the house for about 6 months, and they started to see things happening in the house. And there was something had been done to this house long before. It was a burial ground thing. Then it went into people that opened portals there that shouldn't have been opened, and things came out and things manifested in that house, and they were there for a very long time. By the time that family had moved in, they woke a sleeping giant, and George Lutz woke up one night in the middle of the night, and he went into the bedroom of his wife, and he blew her fucking brains out all over the wall. An hour later, I think he took an axe and went to his children, and he did all this in a night. And this became the Amityville Horror House. And this was like a New York modern day Shining kind of thing. This was, just a regular family that moved in down the block, and the guy just fucking lost his cookies out of the clear blue sky. But when they went back into the case history, they realized that they actually were checking the house. They had Ed and Lorraine Warren in the house. They were actually doing case files in this house because they were afraid of something in this house. They were scared to death. This family was petrified of something in this fucking house. And the wife was telling people, we're going to die here. And sure enough, right down the line, they did. And then the other family moved in afterwards, and obviously became the Amityville Horror House. So that house held like 3 different stories. There was a manifestation of another demon that haunted Ed and Lorraine Warren for years that came from that house.
So the real one that, like, before the Lutz family, because the Lutz family is who Amityville is about.
That's right. The family before, I'm sorry, right?
Before them was the DeFeos.
DeFeos family. Sorry, right? I'm sorry. I'm half a cup short of coffee.
I was to say it goes even before the books and the movies based on Amityville. Was Ronald DeFeo, who killed his parents and the younger siblings.
One of the DeFeo family members, a few years back, I think back in 2016, did some kind of a makeshift documentary because he was part of the family, obviously.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I've never seen that.
This guy was like, nothing short almost of a crack addict, to be honest with you. And it was very difficult to get anything out of him. But you could see when the man talked, the fear in this guy's eyes 25 years later after the fact, when they said certain things, looked like he was in the room with whatever it was that he had saw that day. Whatever that man saw 25 years ago drove him mad.
Yeah.
Drove him crazy. That guy went nuts. And
he's related to someone, and he's been in the house, a new family that was murdered. If you're the type of person that can, with no remorse, and just simply blame the devil for killing your parents and your children siblings. Your siblings are literal children. They were young brothers and younger brothers and sisters. And you can just do that with no qualms. Like there's something wrong with you, whether it be a demon or not, there's something fucking wrong with you.
Well, right. I mean, people, you could take that one, you could look at it either way. I mean, the guy was a murderer either way, right?
Yeah. Whether it was the devil or a ghost or fucking Stanley. Right. Stanley, I know you wouldn't. I know. But
no, Stanley, he's too cool. He just likes biscotti, man. He's chilling.
Mm-hmm. He likes snacks.
But the family knew there was something wrong, and they actually called Ed and Lorraine Warren and the church. This is all documented. This isn't stuff that's written down on half a sheet of paper. There are case files of shit on this fucking house, and videotape, hours of analog videotape of studies done in this house. And I've heard some of the MP3s. I don't know if you can still find them online, but if you can, man. You want to listen to some chilling shit, stuff that'll make your bone curl, some stuff that'll make your blood cold, go up to the Amityville house and listen to some of the MP3s of voice trappings they had gotten out of there, and it'll really wake you up. It'll at least fucking wake you up and make you say to yourself, man, that's pretty heavy. Whatever the hell is talking on those tapes does not sound fucking human.
Speaking of like the tapes and stuff, what is that called?
When
they record, it's like called something, right?
There's probably a term for it down the line. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I had like 23 shots of chemo. My brain is like, oatmeal now from it. But, I can still remember most of the stuff. It's talking. That's just talking. It's,
EVP. That's what it's called.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like a term for the actual. It's EVP.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I wanted to call it EMT, and I'm like, no, those are who help you when you have an emergency.
EVPs, and the EVPs are the MP3s of EVPs are what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Now, if you want to hear some really fucking creepy fucking EMPs or like the EVPs, go to the Edmund case in England, the Edmundton haunting for Ed and Lorraine Warren. The demon that are on those tapes, if you listen to that voice, you'll never be the same again. I guarantee it. I can't even hear it. I can't listen to it.
Another fictional tale that this reminds me of is the movie. It wasn't that great of a movie. I think it was Michael Keaton was in it. It's called White Noise.
The
guy's wife passes away, and then he becomes obsessed with contacting her and stuff.
And she's speaking.
Yes. And then he starts hearing someone else speaking besides his wife. And his wife is trying to warn him, knock this shit off. And then the spirit just basically attaches itself to him and it won't leave him alone. That movie was always, looking back at it, if I was to go watch it right now, it's probably really shitty. But I feel like I remember it being pretty decent of a film for its time. I don't know. I kind of find that whole EVP thing to be so cool if you really could pick up something else talking that you couldn't see. You know what I mean?
I've spent hours. Obviously, I've been around before the internet. I was here before the internet was. And you didn't have a lot back then. So if somebody had something like that, it was huge. And there were. At one point, there was a pretty big push for this stuff in the 80s, and there were people putting out like albums of it, and cassette, and we would, a bunch of us would get together and we would sit and listen, to the EVP work that was done and the recordings. But now, with the advent of digital film, I mean, I could pick up my phone right now and just click it on and sit here for 2 hours and pick whatever up. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I do just to check the old atmosphere, make sure there's nothing floating around in the old homestead, But
what I would say, like, if you really had to think of something that scared you, besides like World War III or something, we're talking about like ghosts and supernatural. If there was one thing that would really, really scare me, it would be like setting up a camera to record or something or like a recorder to record audio only, anything. And then like all of a sudden you just like see something that's not supposed to be there, or you hear something that's not supposed to be there. That just gives me the willies. Like it just creeps me out. It creeps
I have
me
hours.
out so
I have
much.
hours of footage. When I had a drum studio in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, above a place called Earthquake, and I know anybody who knows me is Earthquake Studios. The building was built in 1795. Okay, so it's older than fucking dirt. And the drum studio, the studio was a band studio, but it was basically my place, and I would go up there constantly. I was there 24 hours a day. I just loved to play, and I would go up on my own. And back then, I mean, there were, back in the early 90s, there wasn't, cell phones really. There was just, I had a video camera. So if I wanted to work on a drum piece, I would put the video camera up. Sometimes the video camera would fucking zoom in on something that wasn't, because it had autofocus. And it would try to zoom in on something, that wasn't there. Like if there was a still moment and I didn't notice on the camera, but when I go back and replay the tape, for 5 minutes or so, the camera's trying to zoom in and you hear something and the camera would shake, it would move. And I mean, that's how you know when there's something in the room with you. You start to see the signs like that. Then you know something's there. That's a spot that you want to pick up on your EVP work. That's a spot that you want to center on for the night. That's a hot spot, and you go. But you really have to be careful because, I mean, as a person that's novice at this, I've known a lot of people that are not novice at this, and I've seen what can happen to people that aren't careful and people that really don't pay attention. Like, it's one thing to not believe and want to see and understand. It's something else to know that they're there, purposely go seek them out, and be completely careless about it. It's like getting into the cage. It's like getting into a cage with a wild animal. It really is. I mean,
you're not respecting it. From the chat, Alex says that there's a YouTube channel of two guys talking about paranormal stories. It's a podcast about the Warrens, and that they basically say that it's crap, that it wasn't true. And Alex said that, of course, she's not a person to judge because anyone doesn't really know for real what happened. It's in Spanish, but you can find them on YouTube as Leyendas Legendarias. Right. And then Adrian says, have any of you heard of the Hellfire Club?
Hellfire Club, absolutely.
No, I haven't heard of that as well.
I have. Yeah.
What is it? So tell me what it is.
That was a castle. That was 2 or 3 gentlemen in a castle years ago that actually started like a demonology club, and that became a paranormal society. I do know who the Hellfire Club is. They were big demonologists. That was probably that's like a sacred tap kind of thing, man. The Hellfire Club was the paranormal club of the 18th century. I absolutely know who they were, and that's cool, Adrian. Yeah, there's so much shit out there to educate yourself on if you really want to, get into it and learn. But again, it really comes down to, I think, what you think and what you feel. I'm very susceptible, and I'm an open book. I'm a receptor. If there's something in the room, it's going to pick me up, and I'm the focal point of the night. You know what I mean? I'm getting poked and bit and kicked and shit. And yeah, Alex, I did read your words before. Yes, I actually was bitten. I had a bite mark on my lower back in 1998. Something actually bit my back. There were fucking teeth marks. I woke up with a bite mark on my back. And I slept alone that night. I was alone. So I mean, that was probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me personally on my body. But that's by far not the craziest thing I've ever saw. I mean, I've seen a brush fly 13 feet across the room into a wall and explode. I've been hit with fucking fruit. There's just a number of stuff. So of course, I'm drawn to Ed and Lorraine Warren, and I watch every fucking movie they make, just to creep myself out further. But I really do enjoy it, and I do believe, in everything that's out there. Aleister Crowley I believe was part of the Hellfire Club at one point, if I'm not mistaken. If that's going way back, there's so much stuff out there. I mean, you could really just lose yourself and immerse it. It's more than a hobby. It's just
Right.
there's so much out there.
So I'm looking more at a couple other things here, just from online that people have posted. Because Steven was cool enough to he put it out there too, like, hey, what's everyone's favorite ghost stories or whatever. And somebody had said, of course, The Haunting of Hill House. They brought that up. And so, of course, I have to kind of interrupt just so that we can, because we're at 45-minute mark right now. So we have to, at some point, talk about the fact that season 2 trailer dropped, and we are actually getting The Haunting of Bly Manor in a month.
Yeah, it's coming.
It had originally been pushed into 2021 because of fucking COVID.
They brought it forward.
I think Stanley pulled some strings for us, and he got Bly Manor released just for me and Joe next month. And if you haven't watched it, check out the trailer for Haunting of Bly Manor, which is the follow-up to Haunting of Hill House. Well, not a follow-up story-wise, but in the series, it's season 2. And then obviously you can check out it's loosely based on the story, the turning of the screw, whatever. That novella, it's old, but it's cool. So that is another great ghost story, is The Haunting of Hill House. And I love that story.
I do too. It's one of my favorites, Stephen.
It's been told many times. Same thing with The Haunting. That's also been told many times. As far as like ghost stories go, haunted house stories are always fun.
Right.
And I feel like they are kind of making a comeback, which is a lot of fun. Of course, in true form, Steven said that his favorite ghost story is the Garfield Halloween special. We had to bring that in, of course.
Stanley knows him, man. Stanley's
favorite Halloween special also.
Yeah.
I prefer Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin, or whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, no, that one's a lot of fun too.
I like the Crooked Man from the Edinburgh Haunting, the Edmonton Haunting from The Conjuring.
Okay, so my favorite ghost story, as far as books go, when I was a little girl, I probably read this thing fucking 8 million times. And no, it's not Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, although I did read that, but it's not my favorite. It was The Ghost Next Door by R.L. Stine. That is a children's book written by the man himself. I still, without even having to look it up, I'll close my eyes. I'm not looking at it. I promise I didn't look up the picture. The cover of the book should be a doormat with like some feet standing on it, like about to walk into a house. And I think that really stuck with me because not only was it a ghost story, but it's really sad. It's a children's book, so I doubt any of you are going to go and read it, and I doubt I'm going to be spoiling it for anybody. But it's a really sad story. It's about these little kids that are friends, and then the little boy finds out that his friend is actually dead. It's a ghost, and their house burned down, and they burned to death in the fire. And so
that was his best friend.
Yeah. And so that story always stuck with me. I don't know why. I think because it ended up being a tragedy,
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. I mean, there's a lot of
all that ghost wanted was a friend,
there's a lot of beauty in it too. There's a lot of symbolism and a lot of beauty in the spirit world. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all demons. A lot of it is think about collectively, if you sit back and really think about the world, where the fuck does all that energy go?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about the millions of people that have passed away on this earth, and where the hell did all that energy is going somewhere? So, I think it's in a collective space, and I think it manifests like, all right, you got a bean dip, right? You might get a bean here, you might get some tortillas stuck over there,
I thought you were talking about partying.
little guacamole here, maybe a little chili over there. You don't know what you're getting.
You really could also compare spirits to flatulence because the gas has got to go somewhere.
Right. It's all going somewhere, folks. You know what I mean? It's all got to go somewhere. Just like the big shit spinner in the ocean, man. It's all out there.
Happy early birthday to Alex, too. October 31st is her 31st birthday. So
happy birthday, Alex.
Happy early birthday.
I think we're going to do something. Maybe I'll whip up a little live soiree. I might end up here for Halloween, and we'll do a show that way. And I'll have a couple people by then that are guest ghosters like I am. Guest ghosters. Listen. I've been. I was gonna say I've been an avocado for a long time.
Joe is an avocado.
I'm an avocado of ghosts for a long time, and I'm absolutely gonna go ahead into the world and do the chase thing. But I'm doing it amongst people that have been doing it for a long time. So maybe I could utilize their strengths and some of their, channeling abilities to come in on the show and say hi to everybody. And, maybe one night down around Halloween, we could do something fun that way. Because I would love for everybody to understand that it's true, that it's there, that it's real. On their own and not have it like forced on you so hard that, yes, it is. And you need to understand, to see something, to actually have that experience, that first experience, like it's like nothing else. Like when you realize for the first time that you're actually in the presence of a cognitive presence that you can't fucking see, that knows you're there,
Right.
And it's trying to interact with you, and you feel that and you know it, and it's real. It is probably bar none, probably like one of the. It's almost as good as playing the drums in front of thousands of people. Almost. It's a lot of fun though. No, it really is. It's Stanley knows. It's awesome. It really is awesome. And this is a metal and horror show, so of course ghosting and demonology's got to be part of this shit.
That's why it's always so fun, like talking about Halloween and stuff. And, and Bree's gone on a couple trips with us to New Orleans for Halloween. New Orleans is just like a fun city to be in during Halloween, just because it's so historical. There's so much culture, and it really is a city where, if anything, supernatural was going to happen, it would happen in New Orleans. New
Orleans.
I feel like that would be the place.
That's when I was down there. That's why I loved it so much. I could feel. There was love all over me down there, man. I just loved that place. Loved it. We were just talking about that trip like for the last week in this house.
And awesome. Adrian had mentioned earlier before, he had him and some friends. I forgot to mention that from the chat as well. That him and some friends have just like hung out in cemeteries before, and he said the energy was there, but it wasn't threatening energy.
No, not everything is.
Yeah,
not
like
everything
you said, it goes off of what you put in or what you put out there.
A lot of people were the way they were in life. They're just stuck in that position. They don't know how to cross over. They're lost. They get lost, but they're still the same people they were in life. They're not nasty. They're not vicious. They're not mean. Some people try to help. I've had things put in front of me, like, a pen. I don't need a pen, but the pen's there. But I don't need it, but the pen is there because you're going to need the pen. The pen is there. All right. After like 4 times of something appearing in front of you, I just say, all right, somebody's trying to tell me something, and I take it and I go. So, I live a good portion of my life based on what other fucking people from the other side are doing. And I know that sounds crazy, but somebody might understand that. And Adrian, Sir Edmund Hillary, I believe, was Hellfire Club, if I'm not mistaken. Edmund Hillary. The name is sticking to my head. I don't know why. Research it. There's a lot of stuff out there. There is just plethora. getting back to Hill House, I could talk about this for like 8
Oh,
years.
I know.
Really.
We're definitely going to have a Hill House centric show. We can talk about that. We can talk about all the different renditions and versions of it over time. We can talk about the upcoming season and everything. So, guys, be definitely with your eyes peeled for that. Stanley can join us on all of our future Ghost Nights.
Stevie, what would be like your pinnacle ghost movie? I mean, if you were in a position to believe in something and you were in that movie, what movie would that be? What person would you be?
I think I would honestly say it would be the Insidious series, because
It was. You mentioned it.
I really love Lynn Shay's character. I love her little ghost chaser guys that she works with. I like the family and how they work together to try to get the boy and then the father back from the other world. And I just really think that's if it was true that someone had the ability to cross over like that and walk between worlds, I think it would only be right that they use it to help others.
Right. There are people from the other side that do that. There are perpetual. To me, I call them a perpetual leader. Somebody from the other side that'll come over and show you something that you need to see, or guide you to a point, or get you some kind of information that you need.
And now I don't even need to ask you what your favorite is.
Well, I mean, it's so complex because I think I love The Conjuring, but the Edinburgh Conjuring was probably when Ed and Lorraine Warren were in the window scene at the end of that movie, where Lorraine.
When I say Insidious, I mean the franchise. When you say Conjuring,
right. Yeah. I mean, but what endeared me to that series was that belief and faith that she had when she was faced with Malik, is the demon that is plaguing him, who becomes the nun. That's a fictitious name of a demon that actually did what they said, and this demon was nasty, man. It really, I mean, it was trying to take him out. It was trying to kill him. And this thing was standing face to face with Lorraine Warren while Ed was almost dying in that place in London. And, that leap of faith is what drew me to that series. That belief, that staunch belief in her belief system, that not only does she understand that it's real and she's taking it all in and doing it, but she's using the same power that thing had on her against it, And,
right.
And I thought, and that from that point forward, that was the endearing moment for me when I realized that, you have that power. We all have that inside of us. Every one of us has that inside of us as a human being. It's a birthright. It's inherent.
I think that's a cool, it kind of makes sense. Like so what I said, if you have that power, use it to help people. So Lorraine and her husband, they had that and they used it to help people. They spent their lives, they dedicated their lives to helping people,
60, they did 60 years of house cleanings and blessings. Yeah. I mean, even if there was nothing involved, they would go in mostly for free most of the time and just go bless the house for you. And,
So Bree said she finally found it. So I know she's been over here, Detective Grimsley. Her cousin was on an episode. It was episode 52 of My Ghost Story. From 2012 on the Biography channel.
Awesome.
So she can't find a copy of the episode. She's still looking, but guys, check it out. My cousin was on.
I'll find it tonight. I'm going to be up all night now watching for that, Bree. Thank you. That is so fucking cool. I know that show. I sat through hours of case files of ghost stories and My Ghost Story and Ghost Chasers and Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. And I mean, I am like so into it. And I can't believe Stevie actually let me fucking have a topic tonight like this, because
oh my god,
I didn't shut up. I didn't shut up once. I mean, this is like giving the kids a key to a candy store and just letting them run. Go. It's cool. So this was a great topic for me, and I'm glad.
Before we go, I just want to give some honorable mentions to some other like urban myths and legends that have developed over time. Old folklore, of course, like so we'll start with more recent stuff. You got Slender Man. He's a scary ghosty to talk about.
Yeah.
You've also got oh god, I had a list. Now I got to look at I was chastising you earlier for not being prepared. The Bell Witch.
The Bell Witch. Now that was based on a true story.
Yes, from
based
the Bell family.
True story.
That inspired the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Then there is and Alex, if she's still here, she would know this because it's deep rooted in Latin folklore, is the crying woman, La Llorona. The story goes that she drowned her 2 children, and now she is cursed and roams the land crying and trying to get other people's children, if I'm not mistaken, which is really
we got the white woman of Ramapo here in Jersey. That's really, it's this chick. She's
running around. Reminds me of the Woman in Black. That's another famous ghost story.
Most people in Jersey, it's the broad and white. She's running around with all the white shit on her, right? Yeah, I seen that. I seen it. Nobody gets it, but yeah, that's a ghost. She's not real. She's not really there. You got to give it to them. Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. But it's true. There's so many.
They're simple and from Staten Island.
There's so. Don't get me started over there. There's a lot of this. I mean, Steve, I could go all night. There's
of course. So we're gonna have to, guys. Because this hour just fucking flew by. So we're gonna have to dedicate like one episode a month to like specific legend.
Like 2 hours. Like a 2-hour deal. 1 hour for us, 1 hour for Stanley. And Scotty.
Stanley gets his own show now. He's a permanent fixture on the show. But remember, you got to bring snacks. If you don't bring snacks for Stanley, it's not going to end well for you. But
he likes chocolate biscotti.
So I would say we'll have to figure out, but going forward, we're going to have to do like a once a month thing where we pick a ghost or a legend or something and we discuss that in length.
Yeah.
This was a great topic. I feel like whenever we talk about stuff like this, that's when Joe really just goes. And then Joe said, or not Joe, yeah, Joe said, he said that her university is haunted, and Ghost Hunters did a bit on that. So you'll have to go find that one too, Joe.
Which university is that? Is that South Carolina?
No, South Carolina.
Which one?
She lives in Kentucky.
Oh, in Kentucky. I'm sorry.
But I'm a bad friend because I can't think of the name of her university.
I'm the bad friend.
No, you're the dumb friend.
I'm the dumb friend.
Bad friend. And with that, guys, I'm beating up the microphone too. Stanley, thank you for joining us. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We got a fancy banner. Now it's time for our usual stuff.
Across
the bottom.
That's me. That's me over there. You can catch all my shit on the thing there with the thing, just look around. I'm fucking everywhere. All right. There you go.
Hey, and here's my stuff. You can find me on all these things. Facebook, not so much anymore. Kind of over that, but my author page is still on there. And then of course you can find all your horror and metal needs. Subscribe to our channel, share our episodes, like be the cool people that you are, and share the show with people that you think would like it. We want to grow our fan base So
Yeah.
make sure you share with people. If you don't already subscribe, shame on you, and Stanley's coming after you. Bree goes to Western Kentucky University.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wanted.
There
And
was a girl. I know. I'm sorry. I'm blurting out like a school child here. But there was a girl that was killed in one of the dorms. They actually had to keep the dorm room locked. But the dorm room, the door to that dorm would lock itself for weeks, and people couldn't get in and out. There's stories. I know these stories. I know what she's talking about. Oh, fucking amazing.
we should also talk about like the sleep paralysis demon too. That would be a fun show to talk about too one night.
You know what? We're gonna do more with this because this is. I mean, it just seems to be a fun topic for everybody. I think everybody had a good time.
A lot of people enjoy it. Alex said she really enjoyed the show tonight as well. Thank you for tuning in, everyone.
Alexandra, my God, thank you. I'm sorry, Steve Clay, but I haven't seen you in so long. Mwah, it's great to have you here. It's great to have all of you here.
Yes, we love it when you guys talk in the chat. So make sure if you're watching, we've always got like some silent Sallys over here that like want to watch, but they don't want to talk. They very well could be maybe not have access to commenting or whatever, or maybe they're driving. So whatever. Regardless, thank you for tuning in. It's been real. And
great show, guys.
Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that fucking fabulous YouTube stuff that people say. Thank you again. You guys rock, and we'll see you next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m.